comic book fans, and welcome to my comic book reviews for the first week of June 2015. How have we got to June already? This year is just flying by. Anywho, this week I've got 18 books to review, so it was another big week. Some good stuff here though. You know, we're in the debut of the DCU as their kind of new thing moving forward launch this week. We've got Secret Wars carrying on over in Marvel, and then on the indies there's just some really excellent books that are just totally different to anything else out there. So a really good week. We're going to do this. We're going to start off with the indies. We're then going to review the DC books. Then it's going to be Marvel, and then pick of the week and close things down with Company of the Week. So without further ado, let's get to those reviews. So 7 indie books to kick us off, and we're going to start off with Valiant, and it's issue number 2 of Dead Drop. And I really enjoyed the first issue. It basically, the gist of the story is each issue is a different hero, and they're all trying to get this virus back. And the woman who's got the virus and he's avoiding whoever's after her. There's something more to her, but we don't know yet. Exo-Man of War was the character in the first issue, and she got away from him. This issue they call in Archer. I was very interested because I've never read Archer before, so I was really interested to see what this character was like. I wasn't impressed. He seemed too much like Woody, and Quantum and Woody I just do not. They're like the only Valiant thing I struggle with, because I'm not keen on their characters. Quantum, not so bad. It's Woody that I really dislike. And this issue seemed filled with comedy. Now, one of the things I loved about the last issue was the whole kind of the thing of the chase and making sure she didn't get away and keeping up with her, and that she didn't release this virus. It added tension to the issue. And what happens this issue, we've still got the chase, but because there's so much comedy, it kind of dissipates some of that tension, because there's just so much going on here for laughs. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this as much as the first. However, I did like the twist near the end, and we still have the mystery of who this woman is, and she's obviously, there's something bigger going on here than what we know yet. And it kind of, by the end of the issue, you're kind of questioning who are the heroes, who are the villains, as Archer does. And I did like that. The end, I felt the last few pages really saved the book for me. But yeah, didn't enjoy this as much as the first. I'm going to give Dead Drop, issue number 2, 3 stars out of 5. So next up, sticking with Valiant, we have Imperium, issue number 5, part 1 of Broken Angels, the new story arc. And this was bloody brilliant. One thing I do like about Valiant and their 4-issue story arcs is they don't waste time. The story's constantly progressing and moving forward. This issue, Arada is trying to infiltrate Rising Spirit, because they've got this character, Broken Angel, who's developed this new energy technique, and Arada wants it, because this new energy process that she's created is going to be like revolutionary. So Arada takes his group to kind of break in, and and what I liked is we have this whole kind of Fight Club moment. You know how in Fight Club you had Edward Norton at the end, and he's kind of rethinking over what's happened in the film, and it's seeing it from different angles as he realizes what really happened. You get a kind of moment like that in here, which is brilliant, and I loved it. We get a really cool development with Gravedark, with a character I really like, and I'm really glad the direction his character's taking. Again, Sunlight and Snow, or Mech Major, whichever you want to call him, is still my favourite character. This book is one of those books, the deeper you get in it, the more hooked you become. It just gets better and better. Great start to the new story arc, and I'm going to give Imperium, issue number 5, 5 stars out of 5. So moving along now to Titan Comics, and we have Doctor Who, their 12th Doctor Adventures, issue number 8, and this concludes the whole Fractures storyline. I really enjoyed this in the way that the Doctor is the one to resolve things. He's the one who comes up with the answers. One of my complaints about the modern series is that too often it's the companions who save the day. Now, I don't mind that happening from time to time, because they need to be there. It's nice that they can contribute and save the day sometimes, but when it comes to the big stuff, it should be the Doctor, and I feel too often the Doctor is second fiddle sometimes in the TV show, because they want to give the companion more and more to do, and the Doctor isn't the one that fixes things. And what I loved about this story is he's the one who fixes things, and he fixes things in a manner that are going to have repercussions for him, but that's the Doctor, and I liked that. The characterization is very spot on for the how he is in the TV show, abrasive and anything, and doesn't like hugs. But there's a little bit there that he feels very doctorish, because there's a self-sacrifice, and the characters in the story don't even realise that, yeah, there's going to be major consequences in the future for what the Doctor does here. The other thing that I really enjoyed is the book feels, the way the book's written, it's very much like a TV episode where you feel that there's going to be this big moment, this big death, this big sacrifice, and it's kind of like a false moment, and then it goes in another way and there's a twist. So I like, yeah, all in all, I like this. This was good. It did lack that extra bit of oomph, but there was a lot of good here, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing with the Doctor Who's Who books. Titan have done a cracking job, and I give Doctor Who 12 Doctor Adventures issue number 8 4 stars out of 5. So moving now to Image Comics, we have Jupiter's Circle issue number 3. This is written by Mark Millar, who seems to be on a bit of a renaissance at the moment. I was a bit disappointed last issue that Blue Bolt's story they concluded that whole story with Edgar Hoover. I thought that was going to be what the whole 5 issues was going to be about, but it's not. So like that story concluded last issue. This issue we start the story with this character called the Flare. He's a member of the Union, and he meets this young lady. He falls in love with her. She wants to be a hero too. She becomes Miracle Girl, and they kind of become a duo, and he starts having an affair with her, and like the Union do not kind of condone this and want him to dump her. And so like, what's he going to do? Is he going to do the right thing by his team and dumping her, and potentially this person that he really loved, let them go out of his life and stick with his wife and his commitments to his children and to the group, the Union? Or does he go with his heart? And this was really good. This was much better. It is a bit kind of soap opera in some respects, but it's set in a different time. It's set in the 50s, so there's different attitudes, and I like that. I like the fact that it's set in a different time, because there's different attitudes in play. It has for me a Watchmen feel to it, for me, with the way it makes the characters feel more real than your average superhero. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This book really won me back around this issue, and so I'm going to give Jupiter Circle issue number 3 4 stars out of 5. Next up, sticking with Image, all our books now are Image and left in our indie reviews. We have the Autumnlands 2 from Claw issue number 6, the conclusion of the first arc. I love this cover. You have like the bridge. I love that. This is where Leroyd's plan comes to a conclusion, and we get to see what he's been planning and what's going on, because he knows the parlay with 7 Scars is a trap. I like the events of this issue. I like the conclusion. I like the backhaul. The art, once again, is magnificent throughout. I was a bit disappointed. It looks like it's going to be Sandos. He's going to be set up as the hero, and I don't like Sandos. I want him to get exposed. But yeah, there was some very interesting stuff here. Really great issue. Leaves things nicely poised for when the book comes back. They're taking a bit of a break because they've had trouble getting it out on time. They're going to take a little bit of a break. They've got the trade coming out. That's the cover of the trade right there. So yeah, I'd recommend picking this up, because it's a really interesting book. I really enjoyed it. I'm very intrigued where we're going next in the story, but this wound up the first arc very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing if there's what kind of repercussions from this first arc there are going to be going forward. But I give the Autumnlands 2 from Claw issue number 6 4 stars out of 5. So next up, this was one of those rare weeks where, because like usually with my pick of the week, I know pretty much when I've read it, that's my pick of the week. But there were about 5 books this week that could have easily been pick of the week, and this is one of them. Airboy issue number 1. This was brilliant. It's totally different from anything else that I've read, and I really have a lot of respect for the writer James Robertson, because he really lays himself bare here. Basically the gist of the story is it's about the writer. It's a kind of semi-autobiography, or biographical, if you will. So James Robertson's the writer, and the gist of the story is that he's having a rough time, and they suggest that he brings back this Golden Age hero called Airboy, and he doesn't want to do another Golden Age things. He's got doubts. He feels he's kind of reached the lull in his career, that he's hit his heights, and he's forever going to be the man who brings back the Golden Age heroes with Starman. And he wants to have another hit. He wants to, but he feels he's done, that he's washed up. So he gets his artist to come out to discuss ideas for Airboy, but they're totally broke of ideas. So they go out to get high and have a party and maybe ignite that flame. And kind of by the end of the issue, they've kind of hallucinating that Airboy is real. He's here, and he's not approving of their actions. Really enjoyed the story. Totally for adults. This is definitely not one for the kids. But it's just so different, and I just, like I say, full of respect for Robertson, the way he lays himself bare. I suffer with confidence problems at times and don't think I'm good enough. So it really was like a great kind of comfort to see that somebody as talented as James Robertson has those same kind of doubts, has those same kind of issues that I do. Now, I have a very different way of dealing with my doubts than James Robertson. But it was still very comforting to know that I'm not alone, that other people have self-doubt as well. So yeah, I absolutely loved this. Full of respect and admiration for Robertson. Really curious to where they're going to take the series in future issues. But yeah, this was just, I was hooked from start to finish. I would like to know if Hinkle's penis is as large as he draws it in here, or if he just kind of enhanced himself because he's the artist. But yeah, this was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Went very close to being my pick of the week, but I'm going to give Airboy issue number 1 5 stars out of 5. So our final book this week in Indies is Big Man Plans, issue number 3. This was another fantastic issue. Every issue of this book has just rocked. Last issue, Big Man managed to escape the 2 police who were going to kill him, but he was badly burnt, and so we was like, what's he going to do next? So he gets patched up, and he gets into the next part of his plan. We have a few more flashbacks to kind of bring us full scale with the story. And yeah, this was just brilliant, and we don't have all the answers yet, but where we end up, I'm kind of like, yeah, this. I'm really hooked, and I'm sad it's only going to be a mini-series, but it's been fantastic, and I definitely would be rereading this in the future, because instantly it's become one of my favourite books. There's a pretty gruesome bit at the beginning of the book, involving a penis. It seems to be the week for penises in comics this week. Which is pretty kind of horrific at the beginning of the book. The art throughout is just tremendous. The colouring as well adds so much to the book, the way that they do it. All in all, this is just a fantastic reading experience. It's, like I say, definitely one for adults, but I'm going to give Big Man Plans, issue number 3, 5 stars out of 5. So those are my indie reviews, and next up, we're going to see the launch of the DCU as I review the DC books. This week sees the start of the new DCU, and we've got 4 DC books to review. So kicking things off, we're going to go with Batman Beyond issue number 1. If you was a fan of the cartoon series and you think this is what this is going to be, you could be disappointed. It is not that Batman Beyond. In Future's End, that Batman travelled back in time to stop Brother Eye, but ended up getting killed. So Tim Drake took his place, travelled back further in time to stop Brother Eye, and then ended up in the future, where it's a different future. His computer, Alfred, is the same computer that the previous Batman used, and this he acknowledges that this is a different future now, that they did somehow affect it, and things aren't as bad. And this issue kind of introduces the character and the world that as it is now in the future. So I like that they addressed the whole thing. That was one of the problems for me. How come there are more humans in this future? And they addressed that. Hopefully, I'm hoping we're going to see the other characters we saw in Future's End in the future, in future issues. I'm gathering he's just going off exploring Gotham and stuff, and that will come back to that. I like the art in this a lot. There's a really great Planet of the Apes like moment where it flies past the Statue of Liberty, and then the next page we have this battle with a Brother High enhanced Superman. I really like this. This was my surprise of the week. It was a creative team I really liked, but I wasn't quite sure was it going to work. On the evidence of the first issue, I think this could work really well, and I'm really looking forward to the next issue. I'm going to give Batman Beyond issue number 1 5 stars out of 5. Next up we have Green Lantern issue number 41. Hal Jordan's alone, and he's kind of like the equalizer in space now, as he's going around helping people, rescuing people, and doing the right thing while at the same time being on the run. I like where the book ends up, and that really is going to push Hal Jordan in a very interesting direction. Is he going to be obsessed with that, or is he just going to there's different ways he can go with the knowledge he gets at the end of this issue, and I'm very intrigued to see where that's going to go. I thought this issue was very much an issue that sets things up. It doesn't blow you away, but it sets things up interestingly for the future. I'm going to give Green Lantern issue number 41 4 stars out of 5. So a new book I've added to my pull list is Superman Action Comics, and this is issue 41. This new Truth storyline I'm very interested in, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. It feels when you get into this like I've missed an episode or an issue, because it feels like we're starting within the story rather than at the beginning, and at some point we're going to go back to the beginning, which I don't like. I think that it's difficult enough coordinating an event that's going to run through about 4 different books without kind of trying to get complicated and say we're going to have different points in time with those books. Keep it simple, you know, tell the story in chronological order and keep it simple, because it's complicated enough running it across that many different creative teams, and to keep the story consistent and the characterizations consistent is difficult enough without kind of jumping from different points. The uniform, new outfit is explained because he's been outed, his secret identity has been outed by Lois Lane. The world now know who Superman is. There's no secret identity, so there's what reason is there to wear disguise or to wear his Superman outfit, you know? He can just be a regular person. So yeah, this issue leaves me with more questions than answers, but it definitely is a very intriguing first chapter that I enjoyed, and I do like the characterization that they've got here, and I'm going to give Action Comics issue 41 4 stars out of 5. So our final DC book to review is Green Arrow issue 41. The new creative team come on board this issue, and I think they get off to a good start. It's great to see Green Arrow back at street level, dealing with street crime. That's really good. I'm really glad to have Emiko and his old support team back together. That's really cool. I don't know what's going on with the long hair. You know, he seems in look to be a lot like the young Ollie Queen from the TV series. So I don't know what's going on there. But I like the supernatural element to this and the mystery. And I thought this was definitely a very solid start, and the introduction of George the Wolf I think is going to be a great introduction as well. All in all, I left this very satisfied, and I'm going to give Green Arrow issue 41 4 stars out of 5. So next up, let's go Marvel. So we are with Marvel now, 7 Marvel books to get through, and we're going to start things off in a galaxy far, far away. It's Star Wars issue number 6. Jason Aaron has just done a rocking job on this book. The characterizations are spot on. The banter between Han and Leia this issue feels very authentic, like the film. I like the battle between Luke and Boba Fett. That goes really well, because like Boba Fett throws this flash grenade so it blinds Luke, and at this point Luke's got no Jedi skills. The only thing he's learned is to fight with no vision, to trust the Force. So he has to do that to try and beat Boba Fett, and I liked how the fight went. It didn't feel convoluted. It felt like, yeah, Boba Fett just underestimated the kid, and he won't make that mistake again. The end here, when Boba Fett has his meeting with Vader and reveals who the pilot is that blew up the Death Star, is an awesome way to end the first arc. I didn't like the big change they're doing with Han Solo and the big reveal of who that person was that's been hunting him. I didn't like that. because I think it turns him from a scoundrel to a scumbag. However, I'm gonna, you know, while I initially don't like it, I'm not gonna outright condemn it, because I trust Jason Aaron as a writer, and I feel there could be more to the story than what we just know. So I'm really intrigued where that's going to go. But I thought this was, overall, was a good issue, and what's been a really good series. I give Star Wars issue number 6 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have Darth Vader issue number 6. This was another one of those books that went close to being my pick of the week. I really loved this. This really again surprised me. Last issue, Kieran Gillen introduced this kind of team of superpowered individuals that the Emperor has been assembling with this character called Cylon. Is it Cylon or Silo? Silo, sorry, Silo. And he's been putting this team together so the Emperor can find a replacement for Darth Vader. So I wasn't quite sure how I felt about this superpowered team, because it seemed to be like this comic kind of convention being put into Star Wars that we maybe hadn't seen before. So there was part of me that was quite original, and there was part of me that kind of didn't want this kind of intruding onto Star Wars. But this issue, what I liked is that the Emperor isn't going to have the team, that eventually they're going to kill off their rivals, and there's going to be one remaining, and they'll be his new chosen one. There's a great scene between Vader and the Emperor that in Vader's mind at least resets his position with the Emperor. We have an extended version of the scene with Boba Fett from Star Wars, where it's revealed is who blew up the Death Star, and I really like how the two have kind of got together to play that. This is a longer version of that scene where we get more from Vader's perspective, but I really like this. The thing for me was, like in A New Hope, how subservient Vader is, and then in Empire and Jedi he's quite like, me and Luke can take over from the Emperor, where we didn't really see that in the first one. And what I like here is they kind of put some explanation into that, why his thought process going forward in Empire and Jedi is a bit different to how it is in A New Hope. So I really like that, and Kieran Gillen won me back around. This was just a really great issue. Bloody loved it, and I'm going to give Darth Vader issue number 6 5 stars out of 5. So next up we have Princess Leia issue number 4, and this was the best issue of this series yet. Mark Waid did a really good job. Dodson art, I think, is like, I'm not the biggest Dodson fan, but I thought there's like some really iconic scenes here, and I just thought his art worked really well. I really liked his art in this book, in this issue. We have like the main story is Princess Leia trying to uncover who the spy is within her little crew and people, and she deals with that. She sends some emissaries off to this planet to find some more Alderaanians, but they've kind of started mixing with the local people and kind of having inter-species marriages. So we got this one Alderaanian guy who's against this, and this could break the treaty because like he's been blatantly racist. It addresses an interesting issue, and it does it in a good way, because like, while you disagree with this guy's attitude, he's explained in a way that like his people, their planet is destroyed. They are all that's left of their planet, their culture, their history, and he's scared that by marrying into other species and other cultures that they're going to lose their own culture when they've already lost their planet. And you can kind of understand where he's coming from, even if you totally disagree with it, and that's where I think it's well written. And the character that is a pretty, all through the issue, he's the bad guy, he's the horrible individual. So I liked that they gave him this role of being the racist, but then kind of put it in this way where you look at it and think, well, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. He's still wrong, but I can see where he's coming from. And I think that's good. Sci-fi has always been very good at kind of being able to look at human issues, because we take a step away. Gene Roddenberry did that with Star Trek in the 60s. The remake of Battlestar Galactica did that. And I think Babylon 5 often did that. Really good science fiction can often take those kind of views that other things couldn't maybe get away with. and I thought that was an interesting wrinkle in here. Add that, then we've got Leia kind of trying to find out who this spy is and how she's dealing with that. I just thought this was a tremendous issue. Really enjoyed it. The art, I think, was the strongest I've seen from Dodson, and I'm going to give Princess Leia issue number 4 5 stars out of 5. Really good issue. Next up we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue 18.1, featuring part 3 of Spiral. I bloody love this book. Jerry Conway writes it, and I want to see him on the main Spider-Man thing. I really like Dan Slott's Silver Surfer. I loved Superior Spider-Man. Spider-Verse was a good event, but either side of Spider-Verse, I don't feel Dan Slott has quite kind of been as good as he was before Superior Spider-Man. His Amazing Spider-Man hasn't. It's lacks of it. This has a very authentic Spider-Man feel. Not surprising that because it's written by Jerry Conway, but it has a very kind of authentic feel of being Spider-Man. We have Anna Marie in this issue, which is my favourite character in current Spider-Man, so I was really pleased to see her turn up. There's a great scene between Spider-Man and Black Cat, which I really liked. All in all, this book is just really good. The cliffhanger at the end got me. The art here by Carlo Barberi is brilliant. All in all, this book's just really great, and I really liked where we're going. And I say, give Jerry Conway full-time writing on Spider-Man, because this was really great. And I give Spider-Man 18.1 5 stars out of 5. So next up we have SpiderWoman issue number 8. Again, I've spoken about this before. This book has just kind of totally reinvented itself, and it's awesome. This issue, SpiderWoman kind of found who was blackmailing the villains, and it turned out to be their wives, and they've set up this kind of little paradise with the money that their husbands have been pinching. And Spider-Woman comes face to face with the leader, and she's totally gone crazy. And Spider-Woman, and she has this big old fight this issue with this character. It has for me a very kind of Daredevil-y kind of feel. And I know that's an easy thing to make because you've got Ben Urich in here, but it does have that kind of feel for me. I really love this book, and I like the status quo they set up at the end of the issue. I think that's really good. Really like the characterization of Spider-Woman. I love the new outfit. The art is great. The story wraps itself up beautifully. All in all, I really enjoyed this. This has become an outstanding book, and I give Spider-Woman, not Spider-Man, Spider-Woman issue number 8 5 stars out of 5. Great stuff. Definitely well worth picking up. If you dropped off that book because it wasn't much good during Spider-Verse, it's definitely a book to give a second look. And next issue should start a new arc, so when issue 9 comes out, try it. We then have Master of Kung Fu issue number 2. I enjoyed this book. The first issue very much introduced everything in this world. This issue, we kind of get more into Shang-Chi, and we reach a point in the story where you're kind of a bit disappointed with Shang-Chi because he just wants to go and get drunk and doesn't want to help anyone. But then you get why he doesn't want to use his abilities and his powers, and by the end of the issue he's kind of confronted with that there's no way out of this, that if he wants to make a difference he's gotta go back to using his abilities. So I liked the story, the structure and the journey that we were on this issue. I thought was really good. I like using the different characters from different kind of parts of the Marvel Universe and kind of reinventing them a bit. I thought it was really good. All in all, I'm really enjoying this right now. It's one of those books from Secret Wars that I'm really glad that we're able to get a book like this, because tonally the books that they're bringing out for Battleworld are all very different, and I like that. I think that's a really cool and clever idea, and I give Master of Kung Fu issue number 2 4 stars out of 5. So our final review from Marvel, it is Secret Wars issue number 3. Bloody brilliant. This was another book that ran close for my pick of the week. It was great stuff. We get more into the story. We get to see that Doom and Strange remember what was before, and that they've crafted this world, and the world's been around for a decade. And so like we get to see the Cabal and what they're up to. The heroes arrive on Battleworld, so that's really interesting. And seeing Strange kind of explain to them about this world, that's really cool, and I really enjoyed that. We get to see Sue Storm and her relationship to Doctor Doom and what happened to Johnny Storm, and that's all really cool. This was just filled with so much great stuff. I was just gripped all the way through. The art again by Ribic is brilliant. When he draws Doom's face when he takes his mask off, oh wow, how gruesome and shocking that was, and he does a great job. The end of the issue, I'm going to spoil it slightly, but ends up with the Fours catching up with the Cabal. So next issue we're going to get clobbering time between the Fours and the Cabal, so that's going to be awesome. All in all, this is just really living up to it. 3 issues in, every issue has been amazing, and I'm hoping that we can get 8 issues like this, because that would be incredible. To have an event that was just consistently brilliant all the way through would be phenomenal. Loving the event, and I give Secret Wars issue number 3 5 stars out of 5. So those are my reviews. One thing left to review now, and that's my pick of the week. So our pick of the week for the first week of June 2015 is Justice League issue number 41, which features the Darkseid War Part 1. This was phenomenal. It's a $4.99 book, and I'm not in favour of $4.99 books, but it does feel quite a meaty book, and the content, it is just jam-packed with awesomeness. So I'm going to walk through this book because it's just so awesome. I'm going to leave something out otherwise. So we start the story off. We have these 2 characters from Apocalypse. I'm trying to get their names. Kanto, and I can't remember the other lady's name. But yeah, these 2 characters, and they're hunting down everybody called Miranda Black. And like, it's kind of like a Terminator moment, where like Terminator, he knows he needs to get Sarah Connor, but he doesn't know which Sarah Connor it is, so he's just going around killing Sarah Connors. And that's what this book, they don't know which Miranda Black it is. So these 2 characters from Apocalypse are going around one by one killing all these people, these women, and that's where the story starts. We then get introduced to Mr. Miracle, and we get his whole origin story of who he is and, you know, what he's up to. And there's just some fantastic art here that I just absolutely loved as he tells his story. We then have the Justice League at this crime scene of this Miranda Black, as they're kind of trying to investigate, because they've got Cyborg's connected to like these mother boxes. So because these 2 people from Apocalypse used a mother box to get around, he can kind of know that that's been there. So they're there to kind of find out who these people are from Apocalypse and what they're up to, and that's really cool because we get to see the characters interact, and we get to see Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor interact. We get to see the Flash and Batman on a crime scene, because like the Flash is kind of like CSI, isn't he? And then you've got Batman, the world's greatest detective, so seeing them work together on this crime scene. And we have this great moment with Shazam and with Cyborg, as Shazam has never seen a dead body before, so he's dealing with that, so that's all really cool. We then jump to Superman and Lex Luthor, and Superman totally doesn't trust Luthor. And it's a really cool moment as we get to see Superman kind of manipulate Lex into doing the right thing, and that was really cool. We jump back to Mr. Miracle as he's trying to find what Darkseid's up to, and he comes face to face here with Darkseid. But what I love is that you don't get to see Darkseid totally properly the way they draw him. So he has a backup, just as he's learnt what Apocalypse is, Darkseid's up to. Is he gonna get killed? But he manages to get away. We then have he manages to get away, and then here we have our heroes, our Justice League, as they're trying to investigate what happened, and then just all hell breaks loose out of nowhere. All hell breaks loose. From within the Flash, we have this lady show up. I can't remember her name, but she's the daughter of Darkseid, and she hates her father, and she basically just then sets about kicking the Justice League's ass. Meanwhile, Mr. Miracle has kind of materialized where Razor Ribbons, that's the other character, Razor Ribbons and Kanto have disappeared too. Mr. Miracle turns up, so he's fighting these two people, while, you know, Darkseid's daughter is just destroying the Justice League. She rips apart Cyborg, she puts a knife through Shazam, which is like just awesome. And then, like, you think it can't get no more awesome, then Wonder Woman turns up and takes her on, and Wonder Woman's trying to get in touch with Superman, and then stuff breaks loose with Lex Luthor, which I'm not going to show you because that spoils things a bit of what happens with Luthor, but there's a twist there with who's trying to kill Lex Luthor. We then have the Green Lantern and Power Ring show up, and it's Power Ring that Darkseid's daughter has been waiting for, and she makes this guy turn up. This is the guy who she's going to put against her father, and then we come to kind of the end of the issue with Luthor and Superman and the betrayal, and we have, like, this side we have Mr. Miracle, and kind of he finds who everyone's looking for. Like I say, just jam-packed with awesomeness there. I don't usually do that, go through the books. I don't like to spoil things, but I knew if I didn't do that, I would miss out on stuff. There's just so much great stuff. It leaves me eager for the next. Justice League has just done a great turnaround, because it was a book that was kind of on and off my pull list. Often I'd think about dropping it, and kind of I'd get the next issue. But it was very inconsistent. You'd have a good issue, then a bad issue, and a story would start off well but end weak, and then the next story might start weak and end well. It was just really inconsistent. But since Amazovirus, this new creative team, have come together and they've done a great job. Fabok's art throughout here is just gorgeous, and Jeff Johns is just writing the way you would expect a writer of his caliber to write. It's great stuff, really enjoyed it. My pick of the week for the 1st of June 2015 is Justice League issue number 41. Well, good news, we've come to the end of the video. It's time to do our company of the week. For those of you who may be new, what company of the week is each week I review my books. I give each book a mark, 5 stars out of 5 stars. What I do for company of the week is, say I take the Marvel books, I add together the scores they got, I divide by the number of books I've reviewed from Marvel, and that gives me an average rating for their books. And I do the same with the Indies and DC, and then I see which company has fared best this week. And there is an outright winner this week. In third place with an average rating of 4.2 were the Indy books. In second place with an average rating of 4.4 is DC Comics. So their week, you know, started well with this new DCU. But on top spot with an average rating of 4.7, which is the highest we've had for a while in our average rating, on Marvel Comics. So yeah, our company of the week on Marvel Comics this week. A good week for Marvel. Before I go, a couple of things before I go. This week I did a bit more of an in-depth kind of pick of the week, and kind of I'd like some feedback. Do you like that more in-depth one for the pick of the week, or do you just want a normal kind of review? Please let me know what you think, because like feedback is good. If you didn't like that and just want a normal review, let me know. Or if you like that and you want to see that every week with the pick of the weeks, like I say, let me know. Before I go, I just want to talk about the previews. This was free from my comic book shop. It's a special Marvel one, just with like their Secret War books, which I always think is a really good idea. Now we have 4s in there, which that was a book I was already gonna get. Jason Aaron writing anything 4, I'm on board. Ghost Racers, which is just like different versions of the Ghost Rider on Battleworld. I'm gonna give that one a miss, just because I've not been reading that lately. Age of Ultron vs Marvel Zombies, I'm gonna give a miss. Age of Ultron is my least favourite event of all time, so I don't really want to follow any book that's attached to it. We have Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde coming out, which again, that's another book I'm going to miss out on. I kind of fell off the Star-Lord book, so I don't really want to go back onto that. Guardians of Nowhere, however, does look intriguing. I may check out the first issue. I love Mike Diodado's art, and here it looks great. I don't quite know what the story is, but I may try out the first issue of that. We'll see how much it is. Another book I'm a bit conflicted with is Civil War. It's written by Charles Soule, but you does the art, and I'm not a big fan of his art. Though it doesn't look too bad here. I quite like it here. I just remember what he did in Indestructible Hulk, and it wasn't very good. SpiderMan, I'm going to give a miss. That Renew Your Vows, that came out a few weeks ago. I'm going to give that a miss. Future Imperfect, another book I'm going to give a miss. Little Marvel looks an interesting book. AVX, Little Marvel. That could be a good one if you've got kids. It does look like a fun book. Scotty Young's doing the art and that. I don't know if he's writing it as well, but he's the sole person down, so I'd imagine he's doing both. We have X-Men 92, which I'd already thought about I was going to pick up. I like, from the look of it, it's very much of the time, the way that they've set it out. So I like that, the layout and everything. It looks very stylized for kind of to fit in with the cartoon and the books of the time of the 90s. So I like that. I think that's a nice touch. Weird World, yeah, I'm picking up that. It's Jason Aaron, so of course I'm going to try that. This is some of the art for Weird World. It does look good. It looks very good indeed. So this one was one I was going to give a miss, Squadron Sinister, but it looks quite good because it looks like a Marvel version of the Justice League. So look, you've got Hyperion, Superman, you've got Nighthawk, Batman, Whizzer, The Flash, Dr. Spectrum, Green Lantern, and Warrior Woman, Wonder Woman. So I think that's really intriguing that you've got this group of characters who are very kind of similar to the Justice League. It's written, Guttenheim's the writer, is that Mark Guttenheim? And Pacheco is the artist. It does look a good book. That I think will be one that I'll be checking out. I just think, just because it's like a Marvel version of the Justice League, looks interesting. We then have Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos, which I'm not going to get. I'm not a Deadpool fan. So yeah, those are the books from here, that from this book I'm going to pick up. On the back they have House of M, which is one I've not decided on yet, because I did like the House of M event, but I'm not sure how much I'll like that world can carry it on. So those are the books I'm going to be getting from that book, Secret Wars. Thought I'd just share that. That's me pretty much done then. Thank you everybody for viewing my video. If you liked it, please give me those beautiful thumbs up. I will be back on Thursday with a haul video. I'm working on Thursday, on Wednesday rather. I'm working until 5. So I leave work at 5. It takes me like 15 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes to get to the train. There's a train at 15:15 that will get me into the city centre about 25:15. My comic shop shuts at 5:30. I don't think I'm going to make it. So I'm going to go and get them. I'm off on Thursday. So Thursday morning, I'll walk up city centre, get my comics, come home and record my whole video. So that's the plan. Though I don't know though, because like then I'm working like from Sunday, I'm working 5 days straight. So I don't know where I'm going to fit in my review video, but I will find a way to get it done. Thank you very much for watching. I may have already said that. Please let me know what you thought of the pick of the week, whether you want to see that more in-depth kind of version, or just how I already do it, just keep doing. Hope you all have a great week. I've been Jason. This has been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.